through Fox News and let the independents who are tuning into you, let them know what it is that she stands for, the principles behind her positions.
It used to be that new candidates were advised to brush up on the issues so they could handle questions from anyone, even tough questions. The idea behind that was that it prepared you also for actually governing. But now the advice to candidates is only to talk to sympathetic reporters.
We need to start now by electing strong leaders who aren't afraid to shake it up. We need strong, principled leaders, public servants who respect our Constitution.
We need clarity. We deserve answers, so we don't ask the same questions tomorrow.
Good night, Lon.
About the fact that the Republicans and Democrats now are having all different discussions about what they should spend their money and taxes and so on. And the House Republicans, it said, are blocking a child nutrition bill that it said would give thousands of needy children free and healthier school lunches. And this is a bigger subject because the question is how much should the government be involved in healthier lunches in schools and vending machines and so on. I want to show you something. First, what Sarah Palin had to say, and then after that, what Michelle Obama, who has an obesity program, Fighting Obesity, had to say in an interview that we did with the Obamas last Friday. So here's Sarah, and we'll see, and then we'll discuss.
Who should be making the decisions, what you eat and school choice and everything else? Should it be government or should it be the parents? It should be the parents.
What do you think should be the role of government in combating obesity?
A government has a role to play in this issue, as does every other sector. I mean, there is no constituency that should be excluded from this call to action for our kids.
So, you know, that's it in a nutshell. She says it should be state, it should be supermarkets, it should be parents, it should be everybody. And the other feeling is government should stay out.
Well, the Republicans here are actually playing a dirty trick because there's a lame duck session right now. So they're trying to add on to this bill and say, no, we want background checks on people working with kids and add it onto this bill that's trying to help kids get healthy food. I think that's a dirty move. I think they shouldn't wait until the session's out of its lame state. And I think if they want to not have this bill passed, they should have the guts and brawn to actually step forward and say, no, we don't want this passed. Clean bill. I'm all for clean bills, but I'm also a fiscal conservative. However, I believe that kids, if anything, should be where we're spending our money properly.
Well, you know what, Elizabeth? There's a lot going on right now where the Republicans are blocking extensions on unemployment benefits, food for needy children. It's like, you know, it's like Oliver Twist. You know what I mean? More, please.
This has happened on both
Palin,
sides.
Can I have more?
And I don't think it's right. And you know, Joy, when we've been in this historically, it's proven that when Congress is in a lame session, people will try to block things until they have the majority when they return. I don't think it's right on either side of the aisle, particularly when it deals with children's health. And I think that there's a lot to be done, and I think this money should be spent, but I think it should be monitored. We saw Waiting for Superman, where we see a ton of money being poured into the school systems, not necessarily in a way that's benefiting kids. It should be spent and monitored.
So then the question is, do you think that because you want to clap, I don't want to cut that off. But Sarah Palin, when she's saying that government shouldn't be involved in schools, is she saying, I don't want this bill to pass, or does she really believe parents, it should only be parents?
Here's the problem with what
she does not, you know, she does not believe, and many people agree, in more and more government interference into aspects of our lives.
What parent wants their child to be obese?
Here's the problem, though.
I think
what is bad about them saying we want good food in the school?
It's easy for parents. It's one more place for, I'm taking the other side. It's one more place for government to be involved.
Yes.
And by the way, it's more expensive to eat healthier. It's much easier to just put a bag of chips in. And
but, you know, to leave it up to the parents, sometimes it doesn't work. I mean, I was a teacher on open school night. I often say this. The kids who are doing the worst sometimes have the least action from parents.
Well, you know,
they don't come to open school night as much as the kids who are doing well. Right. And so to expect these parents who are overstressed probably to begin with to then deal with all of that is really unrealistic, I think.
Well, I think it's true. When you hear, and I think Sarah Palin's mistake here is not accounting for that right there, because you're assuming that, maybe like your own situation, that of course you're packing the school lunch every day. That may not be the case for a myriad of reasons.
Okay,
I think you
would
need
like
the government to fill the gap.
On this day, what's today's date?
Second day of Hanukkah.
The second day of Hanukkah, that Elizabeth Hasselbeck said something that was not positive about Sarah Palin.
Well, I don't
I'm teasing you. It's a very important discussion.
Because she's not a non-compassionate person. No, Elizabeth is a compassionate Republican. And that's what we need more out there of, okay? People who have a sense that poor people need help in this country. The discrepancy between the very rich and the very poor is enormous right now. And it has to be dealt with. And stop politicking on Capitol Hill. And help poor people.
Stop making speeches.
But when I went to school, I was a proponent of the free lunch program, which was mandated by the government. Yes. I mean, my family was just so glad that we got some food.
Many states and cities do, and the federal government also, to a degree, contributes to the school. It's a very, very important discussion, and we will hear.
It's a big issue. It's an over-encompassing philosophy of how to deal with people in this country.
And politics messes it up every time.
They mess it up.
Okay, we all done with our speeches?
Have you heard about the nanny state's latest plan to control our lives right down to the food we eat? It is happening. It is happening to kids in Pennsylvania, of all places, home of Hershey, Pennsylvania, where the streets are paved with chocolate and the lampposts are sugar canes, and even that Democratic governor guy declares each year that there be real gumdrops on the roofs of all the gingerbread houses. Only now, the nanny state Pennsylvania Department of Education wants to take the cupcakes right out of your kid's lunchbox. And this could be very bad news for freedom and for the girth of future defensive linemen of Pennsylvania. But take heart, Pennsylvania, you've got a warrior for freedom. And she's got a bear, and a Twitter machine, and a boatload of sugar cookies. That's one... That's one version of the story of Sarah Palin and the great Pennsylvania nanny state accusation dessert fail of 2010. The other version, the real version, began on Monday when a conservative Pittsburgh newspaper reported that state education officials were taking the sugar out of public school celebrations. Quote, parent organizers would have to pick just one sweet per party and will be encouraged to order anything else from a menu of healthy snacks. On Tuesday, as Sarah Palin was due to give a speech at a private Christian school in the state, she took to the Twitter machine. Quote, to PA school speech, I'll intro kids to beauty of laissez-faire via serving them cookies amidst school cookie ban debate, nanny state run amok. Then she showed up at the private Christian school with 200 cookies and told all assembled exactly who ought to be boss.
I had heard that there's a debate going on in Pennsylvania over whether public schools are going to ban sweets. I wanted these kids to bring home the idea to their parents for discussion. Who should be making the decisions what you eat and school choice and everything else? Should it be government or should it be the parents?
Or should it be the lady who brought the cookies to her $75,000 speech? It should be noted that the conservative Pittsburgh newspaper that ran the original story about the cookie police retracted the story and posted a correction saying there was no mandate about sweets, only a plan to encourage schools to serve something healthy to eat. No word on whether Governor Palin will now try to retract the cookies, now that the basis of using them in her publicity stunt has been debunked. Even though I want her to take back her big lie against Pennsylvania, I think I do not want her to try to retract the cookies.
She's extra sassy these days, too, because she's winning. All her mama Grizzlies are winning. And they're busting through that glass ceiling. And the mama Grizzlies are going to Washington, and they're going to flip your picnic table, Dave. You know what I noticed on Fox News last night, though, is on Fox News, they address her as Governor Palin, which is like calling me Dairy Queen employee. I was once, but I quit.
That's right.
There is that point there that somehow Sarah Palin forgets. Oh, well.
Perhaps we are not properly educating our youth in the exceptional nature of America. It's worrisome because this belief in American exceptionalism is something that every new generation has got to make its own if we expect our republic and our liberties to be secure and to live on. For America to survive, we have got to pass this on to that next generation, to the young kids who are here, to the students.
You know, this real America, does it exist, John?
Well, in terms of real American and exceptionalism, look, the most basic thing that people can do in support of democracy is vote. And we take our votes very seriously. The people of Alaska voted for Sarah Palin, and Sarah Palin quit. Exceptional people don't quit. And I seriously tell my kids this probably 2 or 3 times a week. It's better to lose than to quit. So she can sit there and she can talk about being exceptional. She can talk about better of America. If she were a better person, she would have stood and fought. She chose to check out and to do it to make money. I've got no problem with making money, but that's what she is. She's a reality
I
star.
have a different observation, though. He hears what's going on. That speech, the first 20 minutes, was every vapid cliche strung together. It was complete, almost nonsense.
Suppose Senator John Doe puts forth a constitutional amendment that would outlaw abortion, even in cases of rape or incest, and he asked you to attend the announcement and support him in that. Would you do it?
I would. Yes, a proposal like that, I would stand by it.
Let's be completely clear about the facts here. There is no place in the world and no time in history where restricting women's reproductive rights makes a people or a nation more free or more equal. These extreme positions on abortion are, without any question, a war on American girls and women, and the fact that there are women who are both complicit and participatory in it is really neither surprising nor unprecedented. It has always been true, and it is incredibly important that we recognize that despite the fact that we can be very proud of these women and as politicians, that the question is, how do women as citizens fare on the other side of them either being elected or not elected?